I'm going to retweet that.
Wow. Look at that. We're live. I'm going to hit retweet.
Boom.
And we're live. Oh, man. Viewers are pouring in already. Look at that.
Right.
We're doing Draft Dudes live this evening, taking listener hot takes. Kyle Anderson in first. Nick.
Birdman. No, is that Chris Anderson, the Birdman? Not Kyle, right?
Yeah, the guy with the Heat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he played the hardest style of basketball ever. Not ever. Not ever. That's a lie. Oh, we're getting YouTube comments here too.
Wow, we should start.
We're ready. You want to do some Draft Dudes takes on takes today, Joe?
Let's do it. Takes on takes.
All right. Let's fire it off. You are, as customary, gonna lead us in with your grumbly. What's better than this?
Yep.
All right.
What's better than this?
No.
Guys being dudes here on the Draft Dudes podcast, presented by Locked On. It's Joe Marino and Kyle Krabs from the Draft Network, and we are your hosts here on this live Takes on Takes episode of the show. This will serve as the Monday podcast, but we have people live on a Sunday night joining us. They're going to feed us the takes live. Today's episode is brought to you by RockAuto.com. They have amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need. Kyle, welcome.
Thank you. Ado is complimenting your beard in the comments right now, which I wanted to give him a shout out for.
Thank you.
Takes are coming in red hot. I guess we would be doing ourselves and the listeners a disservice to not at least briefly acknowledge the Jamal Adams trade, right?
Yeah, I figured there'd be some good Jamal Adams, Jets, Seahawks takes said to us. So
let's set the table, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jamal Adams got traded from New York to Seattle for 2 1s and a 3, and Seattle got Adams and a 4.
Yeah.
Right?
With Bradley McDougall going.
And Bradley McDougall also going. Yeah. So monster deal. This is kind of the equivalence of what we saw with the Dolphins and Laremy Tunsil and the Raiders with Khalil Mack. This is a monster contract or a monster trade. And Joe, we continue to see teams jump in on these veteran players without it being a quarterback, which is the really fun part, because it makes you wonder, like, when's the last time legitimate franchise quarterback got traded? And what would he go for now if these are the prices for the Jamal Adams and Khalil Mack and Laremy Tunsil of the world?
I don't know if it would happen, Kyle. I'll tell you what, if I was an NFL GM, I think parting 2 first-round picks, that would not be in my playbook, especially for a safety.
Depends on your team situation.
Right.
If you feel like you're a Jamal Adams X factor away, which, let's be honest, I don't think either one of us thinks the Seahawks are.
Right.
But if you felt like you were that bit away, you could justify it.
Here's the thing, right? I totally get this trade from the Jets' perspective, getting a wonderful return for a good football player, one of the best safeties in the league, one of the better defensive players in the league, getting 2 first-round picks for a player that, look, just wasn't going to fit your plan, right? He's critical of the coach. He's been very outspoken. He's been a disruption. You got to move on for that. To get the returns that they had, it makes a lot of sense. From Seattle's perspective, that's a tough pill to swallow, but here's the thing about that with Seattle. They have not made their first-round picks count. They're the only team in the NFL that has never picked up a 5th-year option for a first-round pick since that became a thing back in 2011. And they've traded away their first-round pick very frequently. Guys like Percy Harvin, Jimmy Graham, they've traded out and don't have a whole lot to show from it. They do not get good value out of first-round picks. This may be, I know it's 2 first-round picks, this may be the best they've ever done in terms of getting meaningful output out of a first-round pick.
In the last, 8 years?
Since 2011.
Right. But not ever. Just in a really long time.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
In their last 3, Jordan Brooks, LJ Collier, Rashad
Penny. Okay.
Trade it. Especially because you're going to be picking back towards the back of the first round. But
right, you'll be in the 20s.
The second one is what I get hung up on. And you're going to be committing substantial cap space to Jamal Adams. Now, he's going to be an expensive player because he's going to want to get paid, man. This is all part of it.
Yeah. Well, Seattle has accelerated their win window, right? And, they were a team with an elite quarterback. You're always kind of going to be in contention. But it felt like there was kind of a changing of the guard with the Legion of Boom on the way out, and some of the overhauls that they had made offensively to the offensive line and the skill players, and kind of felt like it was a changing of the guard to begin with. But now it feels like, okay, now we're back in that win in the immediate future vicinity, because if the bottom drops out of this, Russ Wilson may have to carry you to 8-8 or 9-7 every year.
Which he does.
Which he already does. Actually, never had a 500 season. Always winning seasons. 8 winning seasons to start his career.
I like this tattle take to get things started.
Okay.
Dennis turned in Ben Natan. And Ben Natan said if the Seahawks didn't accidentally draft Russell Wilson, they'd be the Browns. Remember, they had just committed big money to Matt Flynn the same year they drafted Russell Wilson. I think this is a good take.
I think it is too. I mean, they granted, Seattle drafted really well from like 09 to 12.
Historically good.
Right, historically good. They still would have been a very good defense over that stretch without Russell Wilson. But do they have the success that they have? Are they a team that has a defensive nucleus that can't get out of their own way offensively, and you're a middling playoff team every single year? I think it's probably a fair take at the very least.
Let's get some live takes, man.
Okay. This one comes from Jonathan. Adam Gase, everyone's favorite head coach on this show, will be fired after the first game against the Dolphins, which I believe is week 8 or 9.
I got to know that.
And then they have a bye, and then they play each other again.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So they have like this big back and forth. They play each other consecutively with a bye week. So he's fired after the first one.
I think it's week 9. I think they both have. I think
it's week 10. It's week 10. So November 15th. That's 10 games, and that gives them a bye week to acclimate and then play Miami again.
Okay. So what is their first 9 games? I don't seem to remember it being a kind schedule for the Jets, regardless, because we didn't pick them to win too many games this year.
At Buffalo, San Francisco, at Indianapolis, versus Denver, versus Arizona, at the Chargers, versus Buffalo, at Kansas City, hosting New England, and at Miami.
Yeah.
Like 2 wins, maybe 2-8, 3-7 best.
Well, it's 9 games.
Not a math guy. I'm talking about including the Dolphins loss.
Right, but isn't the bye week 10, or is the bye week?
The bye week is week 11, so they play the Dolphins a week.
Mahalo. 10. Yeah, so 10 games. I'd be stunned if they have 4 wins. I'll put it that way.
So at best case scenario, they're 4-6 after that game.
Gase is in on the tank. Let's call the competition committee. Get him to investigate the Jets after trading their best player.
Part of the tank.
Right, that's what I mean.
He's part of this year. Look, you go into a new head coach with Sam Darnold and 4 first-round picks, and one of them probably in the top 5 this year.
Ted would like to know if we think Seattle made a giant mistake by not trading for Yannick Ngakoue instead of Jamal Adams.
What's stopping them from trading for Yannick Ngakoue?
They don't have the capital.
Draft capital?
Seattle.
Yeah, I understand. Bill O'Brien could make it work. You're not giving up for 1 for Yannick anymore. Not at this point. Trade yours 2. They just drafted Darrell Taylor, but that's not stopping me from going after Ngakoue. That's a defense that needs more help than just Jamal Adams.
No. Now you're really going to accelerate. You're going to bone yourself in the cap big time.
Go get it.
You got Bobby Wagner, Russell Wilson already. You're going to have to pay Jamal long term, and now you want to bring in Jan, and you have to pay Jan too. There's no way
have someone to pay them.
No way you take on both contracts.
Why not?
Because
I understand, but their roster's not that good.
You got to pay the other 48 guys on the team.
This team has $61 million in cap space entering 2021 right now.
Entering 2021 right now, is that the $175 million floor?
I don't know what over the cap's got going on. Probably not, because none of this stuff has moved since I looked at it.
Well, then that's not going to be. Then consider it to be $25 million less than that.
And I still got enough space to fit in Yannick Ngakoue.
That's fine, but man, no, I'm not a fan of this idea. Do we think Jamal should have targeted Yannick instead of Jamal? I don't really know that Yannick is a great mesh with the traits that they really like. I know they had Bruce Irvin there for a while and he had some success, but
And he's back.
Right, he is back. But they like these long, heavy-handed, dense dudes, right? It's kind of their mold up front. And I don't think Jan's got the off-ball or in-space ability to thrive in that capacity.
Here's the perspective. Give me Ngakoue for a 2 over Jamal Adams for all that they gave up. Yes. I like it that take. If you're going to sell me on a better value in Ngakoue, as opposed to giving up 2 1s for Jamal Adams, give me Ngakoue.
Okay, fair enough.
Man.
You want to bring back the Squatch call? TP would like us to bring
no. A live Squatch. If you want to do a live Squatch call, go right ahead.
Oh, that's all you're getting. Okay. Big Dogs, 13-18. The AFC East has the worst set of pass rushers in the NFL, but they have the best run defensive lines in the NFL.
Who's the best pass rusher in the AFC East? Jerry Hughes and Mario Addison? They're the most accomplished.
Does Jerry still have the juice, or is he slowing down a little bit?
He beat Laramie Tunsil for 3.5 sacks in the playoff game.
That's why you don't trade 2 1s and a 2 for Laramie Tunsil.
And I think Tunsil must have jumped off sides at least 3 times in that game, man.
That sounds on par, man.
Yeah. So Mario Addison's probably the most accomplished pass rusher in the AFC East right now.
Accomplished pass rusher.
Yeah. It's like 4 consecutive seasons of double-digit sacks.
Yes.
But the question is it the worst in the NFL? Yeah.
The AFC worst top to bottom. Their edge rushers are the worst in the NFL.
Right. Yeah. They don't have anybody that's just like.
It's like even like Jamie Collins is gone now too, right? It's like, okay, what do we have? Now, the Jets had a surprisingly good run defense last year.
Yep.
The Dolphins with their overhaul with Emmanuel Ogbah and Shaq Lawson and Christian Wilkins and Devon Godchow, they got some depth there. Raekwon Davis going to be a rotational guy. The Bills, obviously, I would say they probably are the weakest team against the run in the division, or they forecast to be.
Probably last year they were. You'd like to think with a lot more depth they should be better. But
yeah, but I mean, I would still say they're probably, what you expect with their personnel to be a top half of the NFL.
Somewhere between 10 and 15. Yeah, I do.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think this is a perfectly reasonable take to suggest that the pass rushers, the raw talent of the pass rushers is terrible, but you've got 3 really good defensive coaches in this division who are going to be able to scheme up some pressure, and Greg Williams is super aggressive as well. So you manufacture the pass rush, and you have the talent that's going to dominate the line of scrimmage.
RockAuto.com is a family business that's been serving auto parts customers online for 20 years. You can go to RockAuto.com to shop for auto and body parts from hundreds of manufacturers. They've got everything from engine control modules and brake parts to tail lamps, motor oil, and even new carpet. Whether it's for your classic or daily driver, you can get everything you need in a few easy clicks delivered directly to your door. The RockAuto.com catalog is unique and remarkably easy to navigate. You can quickly see all the parts available for your vehicle and choose the brand, specifications, and prices that you prefer. Best of all, prices at RockAuto.com are always reliably low, and the same for professionals and do-it-yourselfers. Why would you spend up to twice as much for the same parts? Go to RockAuto.com right now and see all the parts available for your car or truck. Make sure you write Locked On in their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that we sent you. They have amazing selection, reliably low prices, and all the parts your car will ever need over at RockAuto.com. Kyle, back to the live takes.
Yeah, this is a bad one. Kyle Anderson, TDM Premium, Slack, Regular. Just dropped this in Periscope. The Colts linebacker core of Leonard, Okereke, and Walker will be top 5 in the league after this season. Top 5.
I don't think so.
No, me neither.
Do we have to do the whole deal where we pick 5?
I'd prefer not to, because we were pretty unanimous and pretty confident about it, right?
We love Leonard. Okereke's a good fit. I don't care about your third linebacker. He's not going to. He's going to play, 20 snaps a game, 15 snaps? Yeah. They have Kenny Moore, one of the best slot corners in the league. Right. That guy, they want to have that guy in the field.
Today's game is played with 5 defensive backs on the field.
Yeah, played in sub.
Okay. Bam to Giannis.
Fact.
No. That was the name of the guy dropping the take. I went to get it and it scrolled down on me. The take was Joe's beard is elite. There's a lot of people that did not realize the extent of the beard.
I've trimmed it up recently. I don't know, man. There's people with better beards than me.
Can you tug on a little bit?
Yeah, let's get it.
Look at the length. Look at that.
It just curls up. Sometimes my wife will take like this like heated brush and pull it all down and toss the Moroccan oil on there. If we go on a date, it's really, but otherwise.
Take from Zach, meanwhile, from YouTube. The Broncos will finish at 11-5, and Drew Lock will look like a legit quarterback as he improves over the second half of the season, and Jerry Jeudy will show why he shouldn't have dropped to 15.
I'm high on Denver, Kyle, and I know that you like Denver a lot. Here's my concern with Denver is you've got developing quarterback around developing weapons, and I don't know that happens quick enough in this offseason for them to get 11 wins this year. And the
offensive line is not the tackle situation in Denver is big question marks on both sides.
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
Jawan James, even when he's healthy, I'm going to be completely honest with you because I watched Jawan James for like 4 years in Miami, 5 years in Miami. I could take him or leave him. And I certainly wasn't going to give him a record-setting tackle contract to be the highest paid right tackle in football.
You like to think with Munchak, he could be the best version of himself, but that wasn't exactly true with Garrett Bowles. I will say this about Garrett Bowles. I think that he's a reasonable starting left tackle that has big-time holding problems.
Yeah.
If he can solve the holding problems, he'd be okay. The problem is he won't do that.
I don't know if he's coming back after this year. How right do things have to go for Garrett Bowles to be back beyond this year?
Well, the thing is they didn't pick up his option, right? So
correct.
He could come back on a 1-year prove-it deal.
Right, on the discount deal.
Sure, yeah. All right, see what you can do. But because they don't have an answer, I don't think they have a long-term answer on the roster. So unless they feel comfortable putting a rookie left tackle in place, could be a little bit slim on options.
Nick Lama, got brought up in the TDM Premium Slack, which, by the way, I mentioned this on the podcast last week and helped a few people figure out the riddle of how to find it as TDM Premium members. When you enrolled for TDM Premium, you got an email, confirmation email, and in there is a button that you click that is an invitation to join the TDM Premium Slack. Joe, I saw we had a couple extra people join this past week saying that helped them find it. So if you're a TDM Premium subscriber and you are not currently in the Premium Slack, go back, check that confirmation email. It's in there. Fred Warner is LB1 in the league, period, is a thought prevalent amongst some of the TDN Premium subscribers.
So Kuechly being out of the league helps, right?
Bobby Wagner didn't go anywhere, did he?
Bobby Wagner's still there. Levante David. Bucks fans are going to love me for that. Eric Kendricks.
Warner might be better than Kendricks at this point, but he's not LB1.
He's a good linebacker. He's one of the better ones in the game.
He's top 10 for sure. He might be top 5.
Yeah, that's fine.
But Bobby's got a lot more time doing it at a high level. And I think that would be something that I don't think you should overlook.
Fred Warner missed 20 tackles last year. He's got to get better. He got a better finisher.
Well, when you got that much range, you're going to challenge tackles other guys wouldn't even dream of.
Yeah, there you go.
Bolt Holt with a take we need to address right now. Top 3 rosters in the NFC are undoubtedly New Orleans, San Francisco, and Seattle in some order. I see you shaking your head, and I already agree with you. I know what you're going to say.
Seattle's not one of the best 3.
Seattle is very top-heavy. Granted, I like what their secondary looks like now. Between Jamal, Marquise Blair is the free safety. Who did they bring in at Nick? They traded for him last year.
Dunbar. I mean, is he going to
No.
Condre Diggs?
Condre Diggs.
They don't play sub. They're the exception, right? They're like sub like 20% of the time last year.
And they need to play more of it, especially with Jamal. Put Jamal Adams at nickel linebacker next to Bobby Wagner. Did you see the pass rush productivity Jamal has had over his career thus far?
I'm guessing he's been pretty good because
it's unbelievable. He might have been the best pass rusher on the Jets last year. And that's not just like cheap, but like the Jets refused to draft a position.
Right.
That's when we did the draft dudes mock draft. You're like, oh, it's Jets. I'm giving them Gregory. So they don't give a shit about pass rushers on the outside. They don't.
New coach next year.
They refuse. I guess. Oh no, Rahul. He's back with another Jamie Newman take. Jamie Newman will be drafted in the first round of the 2021 NFL draft.
Is he going to start for Georgia this year? Better question.
That's the big question.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lock, right? They got slow. Is it what's the guy coming over? It's not Slovis. That's the guy staying.
JT McDaniels.
Yeah.
Or JT Daniels. Yeah.
I don't think he's a lock to start at Georgia.
And here's the thing. If Georgia, if we don't get college football this year, heaven forbid if we don't get college football.
Yep. And
Jamie Newman is going to come out of a transfer from Georgia without ever getting a chance to play, and the only tape he's got to stand on is the Wake Forest tape.
Be tough.
That's not first round tape in my opinion.
No.
And some of it, like, he's super tradesy.
Right.
And Dre Harris brought up, in our staff meetings when we were stacking the TDN 100 board, which will be live again tomorrow at 6:00 to talk about, by the way. If you're listening to this as a podcast, tonight at 6:00, kind of like some Jalen Hurts type dynamics here as far as what the ceiling could be if everything goes right. But like, you still got to go out and prove, like Jalen Hurts did at Oklahoma, that everything's going to go right and you have the ability to do that. And there's no guarantee that Jamie Newman's going to get that opportunity. And even if he does, I think his ceiling is about where you saw Jalen Hurts get drafted. Here we go. Halil's Real Football Talk. Cam Akers will out-touch Malcolm Brown and Darrell Henderson combined this year.
Combined?
For the Rams, yes.
They must have really wanted Cam Akers, man. They drafted him in the second round with those two guys
already in the building.
Yeah, already around. So let's see here. So Darrell Henderson had 39 rushes last year in 8 games. Malcolm Brown, 69 in 14 games. Nice. Todd Gurley with 223 rushing attempts last year. Yeah, I think it's a good take. I think it's a good take, Kyle.
You want to give me this one from J-Rod?
Yes, please. J-Rod Draft Scout. Rondale Moore is Steve Smith 2.0.
Man. I like where you're going, J-Rod, with the speed, the explosiveness, the size, the toughness. All those things make sense. But Rondale, for me, is going to have to add more polish to his routes. I think a lot of times he's more athlete, and Purdue manufactures some touches and bubbles and in the quick game and screen game and stuff like that. And like, that's perfectly fine, because Rondale Moore, as you guys are going to find out today with the TDN 100 reveal, this is a top 20 player in our eyes based on what his tape has shown him to be. He could be the next Steve Smith, but that is a very ambitious comparison to make.
Man, Steve Smith, like an all-timer, man. Nearly 15,000 yards, over 1,000 receptions.
Look who's here.
Vontel, what's up, dude?
He's here. I hope he dropped the hypothetical.
Yeah, it was weird without him last week.
He dropped this like 15 minutes ago. That's how behind we are in the comments. So God
really?
Bless us. Yeah.
Jeez.
Ado says Mukuamu from USC, the real USC, go Gamecocks, will be a top 5 drafted corner. Someone will fall in love with the length and ball production this year.
I like those things about Mukuamu. I also like his trigger and how he helps your run defense. I think he can tackle.
But top 5 corner.
Yeah, because I think Farley, Surtain, Sean Wade, Tyson Campbell, Asante Samuel Jr. Who'd you say?
Adebo.
The kid from Ohio State might come on.
Oh, Tyreek Johnson.
Yeah. Is it Smith or Johnson?
Smith is the edge.
Okay, so they're Tyreek, and then
they got
great
2 Tyreeks. Yeah,
can't
spelled exactly the same way.
Can't wait to mess that up for the next 10
guaranteed.
months.
Okay, so that's 7
off the top of our heads, right?
You got anybody else? Eric Stokes.
Close, yeah. Stokes is really toolsy.
Okay, so that'd be 8.
Be tough. I like him as a big nickel. I like him at maybe even like just a sub player. Just use him in a versatile capacity. He's so leggy, but he's quick for his size. I mean, I like him a lot.
Big moment here on Draft Dudes Live. First Facebook comment. Facebook Live comment for us to tackle. So I wanted to make sure I got it on here. Matt, says Andre Dillard will again struggle for the Eagles, forcing them to go tackle hunting in the draft. Well, Joe, as we understand, like Philly wasn't exactly enamored with what Dillard put out for them in their looks at him throughout the course of his rookie season. And, they were kind of flirting with Jason Peters before the Brandon Brooks thing about bringing him back. And then Brandon Brooks goes down and they sign Peters to play right guard. So, I think this is a very realistic take that, if he struggles in the starting role when they have no other option and he has to step in at left tackle, this is not a team that has the luxury of waiting around to develop a blindside protector for a quarterback who struggled with durability issues.
To me, it's all about whether or not you believe that the Eagles were prepared and ready to go into the season with Dillard as their left tackle. And if Brandon Brooks doesn't get hurt, do they still bring in Peters? We kind of all along expected them to bring back Peters, but the timing of that is a little bit weird, right? Maybe it was just Jason Peters. He's a vet. He didn't want to be bothered with all the stupid offseason stuff right at this point in his career.
Stupid.
Well, I'm sure for a guy that like Jason Peters, who can probably wake up and play left tackle in the NFL. So that's the thing. If they were really going to go into the season and Brandon Brooks doesn't get injured and they were going to roll with these guys, then they had some belief in Dillard. I think it's a fair question. The problem is they don't have much flexibility. They need value players, and having their starting left tackle on a rookie deal would be very beneficial for them if that could work out. They'll probably give him every chance possible to succeed.
Vontel dropped the take. It's not a hypothetical. It's a tape.
Okay.
And it did not disappoint. Are you ready?
Put it up, man.
No, put your seatbelt on.
I don't have one.
To pretend to put one on.
Okay.
The race car style, right? Here we go.
Just across the lap.
Cliff Kingsbury will win a ring before Shanahan or McVay.
He gave both of them. So both
right.
Shanahan and McVay. I don't think the Cardinals are close on defense, and that's a problem for me. I don't think so. You got to be good in the trenches, right? Their offensive line's bad. Their defense, I don't trust. I think Vance Joseph is a bad coordinator. I don't know. I don't know if there's enough there for me to buy into that.
He's definitely not having the time of his life listening to that analysis.
No, just being honest about it. So that's what hangs me up. You can convince me of McVay because I think the Rams they're going to have to do some work here to get their roster back up. Give me Shanahan.
Now, I guess here's the loophole. What happens if Rams hit a massive wall, right? Shanahan, they get stuck in quarterback purgatory with Garoppolo. Cliff dive bombs for whatever reason, and he becomes an offensive coordinator, and then they win a Super Bowl somewhere else.
I don't know. I mean, that's the course, right?
I'm just trying to navigate all the possibilities. I'm scrolling for our next take here.
Do you like being in control of the takes?
It's odd because usually you have for 99 episodes, you were in control of the takes. I got one from eBearcat9. I believe this is Braden in Premium Slack.
Oh, is it?
Okay. I'm in there a lot, so
I know Braden.
I pal around with the
Chiefs fan, right?
Yeah, then this is definitely him. Okay. The NFC North Division champ will be 8-8 in 2020. We're selling this. We've already picked this.
I know, but if there was a division that you thought an 8-8 could get it done, it might be that one.
Probably.
What do we have Green Bay at? We must
10-6. And then we had Chicago and Minnesota at 8-8.
Right. So it's not that close. I'm not that far off from buying that.
But you're more likely to buy it than I am.
I think so.
Okay. Take. Cameron Newton will win MVP this year and lead New England to their 7th ring. Go ahead, because I know how you feel. You feel very strongly about Cam based on having lived in Charlotte and seeing the end of his tenure there in Charlotte play out.
We had a heated Cam Newton debate on your back patio. Wasn't even for content.
Right.
You were all defensive of Cam and Ron Rivera.
Yeah. So set the table for that.
I've made this point before. And what's up with J-Rod just going in on all the former Panthers tonight, right? Like, But
Big Carolina guy.
The point that I made with the Ron Rivera, Cam Newton Panthers, 9 seasons together, 3 of them were winning seasons, 6 of them were losing seasons. Now, there's a whole lot of context that Kyle's going to get into in a second here, I'm sure. But the point that I made is that you don't just automatically win games every year because you have Cam Newton. He's not Russ Wilson in that regard. So don't just sit here and tell me that, because now I understand it's a significant upgrade from Jarrett Stidham, what I think he can be in the league. And Bill Belichick as a coach, you have to kind of buy in and believe in this. But don't just tell me because the Patriots got Cam that they're just going to be a Super Bowl contender because of that.
Okay. And your numbers are what?
9 seasons, 6 losing seasons, 3 winning seasons.
Okay. Now, the second year that Ron and Cam were together, I think the team went 6-10, and they were like 1-7 in one-score games with a second-year quarterback and second-year head coach. And then they made the jump to was year 3 the 15-1 season, or was that a 12-4 season?
12-4.
Okay. Yada yada yada. They go 12-4, and then they have the regression, and they go 15-1, and yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And then we get to 2018, and Joe is including 18 and 19, in which the Panthers were 6-2 before Cam's shoulder got hurt.
Yeah.
And then they fell off because Cam played the entire second half of the year with a bad throwing shoulder. You want to count that as a losing season? That's fine, because at the end of the day, they played all the games. Cam missed 2 games, though, didn't he?
The last 2, he finally shut it down.
What was their record? What was Cam's record as the start of that year?
6-8.
6-8. Okay,
yep.
So it was the losing record.
Yep.
Cam played 2 years in 2019, and Ron didn't even make it to the end of the year.
Right.
Because he was playing without Cam Newton. So I don't know how you could sit here and count that as a year that counts in looking at their resume and say, well, they had 3 winning seasons and 6 losing seasons.
Because Ron Rivera's mismanagement of Cam Newton and those injuries and letting him play and believing him when everyone in the world could look at Cam Newton and tell you he wasn't right, that contributed to it. That contributed to why things fell off the rails in 2018, and it contributed to why the season went the way that it did in 2019. I blame Ron for that.
Bullhole. We don't need to rehash this conversation. We got to keep the takes moving. Titans will regress but win the South at 9-7 due to the weakness of the AFC South.
We had them winning the division at 10-6, right?
Yeah, and then they won a playoff game too. So
yeah, 9-7, 10-6, win the division. We're not high on Houston or Jacksonville, obviously.
I like this one. I'm going to give me this one.
Zach says Sony Michel should be benched for the combo of James White, Rex Burkhead, and Damian Harris. He offers nothing that those 3 can't offer.
It's correct. It's a great take. This is why the Patriots don't draft skill guys early, right?
That's why Bill Belichick's not the best GM in football.
Well,
like an article I read this past week said he was.
Listen, you don't get to 20 straight years of what they've done and not have a guy. They're really good at cap management. They're very unemotional with their decision-making. They don't keep guys for too long. They would always rather be rid of a guy a year too early than a year too late. They manipulate the compensatory formula like nobody that you would believe. Do they draft well? No, I don't think. No, recently they have not drafted well. And that's what I'll give you.
I want to know what the New England Patriots run without Tom Brady would have looked like. Well, because I think that he covered a multitude of sins by Bill Belichick. Multitude.
We are about to find
and everyone's going to say, oh, well, he wasn't around, and Matt Castle took them to 11-5. I'm talking about a 20-year stretch. With Kyle and Joe at the helm, the San Diego Scouts will be playoff contenders by 2025 and Super Bowl contenders by 2028.
2028? No respect.
A long time.
Listen, we'll be fired by 2025 if we're not playoff contenders by then. So here's the thing. I put the roster in today. If you guys missed it, missed it, we did like a 3-week series where we did like season predictions for all the teams in the NFL in 2020. And then we did an expansion draft where we served as the GM of each of those teams and made 5 players eligible for the expansion draft. And then Joe and I are co-GMing imaginary 33rd franchise. It's called the San Diego Scouts. And I just put the rank or the players onto a roster for us to simulate the season in 2021 with Madden. Do you have any guesses what this team's overall rating is?
70.
73.
Okay.
I don't hate it. Now, here's the thing, though. I did. Actually, I meant to call you about this the other day. I didn't get a chance to. Do you remember what we operated with the salary cap being for the exercise?
Oh, 170.
Cap's 175. Should we have signed somebody else in free agency? Can we revisit that?
What would we have? So the two big things that we had to change were Matt Judon and Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, those were the two guys we wanted that we didn't get. Now, there's no way in hell we're going to afford either one of them. Because
but we could get a different mid-level player.
We could get another tier 3 free agent if we wanted to, yes. We have $6.5 million in cap space at our disposal. Just think about it. I'm just going to throw it out there and think about it.
Okay.
And keep the line moving. I want to get a couple more takes here. Oh, this is a good one from Ted. Jalen Reagor will lead all rookie receivers in all-purpose yards this year.
If he returns, I mean, that's huge, right? You're returning kicks 20 yards a pop, punt returns 10 yards a pop. He's not going to lead rookies in receiving.
I doubt it.
But you add in those return yards if he's going to be the guy. Who do the Eagles got that would prevent him from being the primary returner?
Well, they just cut Sheldon Gibson today. Big sad.
I must have missed that.
Yeah, they did. He was going on his
guys, man.
Yeah, they were going on his 4th consecutive breakout season that didn't happen. So
ball skills matter. So who do they got at returner? Our lad says that it's Boston Scott and Miles Sanders.
Reagor.
Yeah, Reagor.
Put him back there. It's not a bad take for all-purpose yards.
Yeah.
Paige DeMacos is demanding that the San Diego Scouts make the playoffs within the first 2 seasons. I'm hoping for like 8-8, and we could say we're close entering year 3.
She the owner of the team, probably.
Yeah, she would have to be.
Wow, our owner just putting that out there in the media, putting the heat on us.
Putting the heat in the media on the expansion scouts. So this is Vontel's hypothetical.
How is this Vontel? It says Darius Johnson. Is that also Vontel?
This is Vontel, by the way. He hit us in the comments. You got to trust me. I got my stuff together. I just don't read all the takes because there's too many of them going in real time. Hypothetical take. $1 billion is on the line, but you have to choose one to give you the best chance. Jesus. Oh, this is not good. Ryan Lindley to lead your team. Remember, he's a Cardinals fan, to a winning record. Survive 45 seconds against Evander Holyfield. 45 seconds or 1 round. Be Adam Gase's lackey for a year.
Oh, I will 100% be Adam Gase's lackey for a year for $1 billion.
I will agree with you on one condition. And that is that Adam can have never heard or read anything that we've said about him.
$1 billion. Just don't kill me.
Well, what happens if he fires you?
I'll do a great job.
Okay, but if he's read that what we've said and he knows how we feel about him as a head coach, he might fire us, and then we're automatically not going to get it.
How old is Evander Holyfield? He's got to be old, man. Evander Holyfield
You see what Mike Tyson looks like these days in his mid-50s?
Right. Okay, so Evander's 57.
I don't care how old Holyfield. He will knock my head clear off my shoulders. He will do it.
57 years old, just run around for 45 seconds.
I was going to say, could I survive 45 seconds? Probably. Will I get knocked down immediately afterwards? Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
but $1 billion should cover the hospital bill.
Right. So I feel like B and C are doable. I don't know about Ryan Lindley, man.
Yeah, no, I doubt it. Okay, last take of I lied. 2 more takes. DeAndre Swift will lead rookie running backs in scrimmage yards this season.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Probably.
So Cam Akers, Swift is up there. Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Taylor's at Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Dobbins ain't going to happen because he's in Baltimore. He's stuck behind Mark Ingram. So
it'll be top. I don't know. If you made me pick one, I'd go with Edwards-Helaire. I think he's going to immediately be the feature point of that backfield.
I'll go with Roll Clyde, which I'm still mad never got traction after they beat Alabama.
Did you come up with that?
Yeah, man. I had the Ed Ogeron with the coleslaw.
Yeah.
Looking down the coleslaw.
You really enjoyed that meme.
Dude, I loved the hell out of that meme. Jack touchdown. Take. Two worst position groups in the NFL are in the NFC West, the Seattle Edges and the Rams linebackers.
That's
Rams,
a lot. That's a lot to think about on the spot.
Rams might not even have the worst linebackers in the NFL.
Because you think the Browns do?
The Eagles and the Browns.
Oh, the Eagles, for sure.
Gary, TJ Edwards, and Duke Riley. I don't care that the Rams lost Corey Littleton, okay? I don't.
How about the Panthers cornerbacks?
Yeah, it's
Eli Apple, Dante Jackson,
and
Corn Elder.
Who knows it?
In the NFC South with 3 Hall of Fame quarterbacks.
Jack, stop. Jack's trying to say Jatavis Brown exists.
Well, if Jatavis Brown mattered, he would have latched on with the Chargers, wouldn't you think, where they have linebacker issues and have for years?
Bolt Holt also says Giants cornerbacks may be worse. You know,
not bad.
I don't know if it's going to be worse with or without DeAndre Baker, but it's not good either way, which is crazy. Considering how much did we talk about this on the air, or did we talk about this in team needs with the TDN scouting staff?
Probably in team needs.
It was team needs. We were talking about it felt like, no, we did touch on it briefly, but just the amount that the Giants invested in their cornerback situation for it to be as bad as it is baffling.
I think we did both, actually. I think it came up in the live pod, and yeah.
Last one, I promise. Stop sending takes, guys, especially juicy ones like X Factor Rebuilds saying the Bengals could be a surprise playoff team in 2020.
I like what they have on defense. I love Joe Burrow, but you cannot trot out this offensive line and expect me to buy into you as a playoff team.
There you go. Done. Final take is in the books. Somebody said take Kyle won't drink again tonight. And they're correct. I will not drink again tonight. I'm done.
Some water?
Some Diet Mountain Dew. That's all I got today. Getting ready to plug in the rest of the TDM 100. Make sure it's up and running for Monday reveal. Kyle Krabs, Joe Marino signing off for the Draft Dudes podcast. We hope you enjoy Takes on Takes Live. As we mentioned earlier, we'll be back live again tomorrow, along with Paige DeMacos, San Diego Scouts owner.
And NFL tight end Jordan Reed.
And NFL tight end Jordan Reed, all members of the Draft Network, to discuss some of the dynamics of the TDM 100. And then later in the week, Dre Harris is going to join us, which we're super excited about as well. So lots to look forward to. If you're listening to this as a podcast, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We'd love to hear from you. Anything that you'd like to hear us talk about. Joe is at the Joe Marino. I'm at Grinding the Tape on Twitter. And if you're watching this live, we thank you for doing so. If you missed it live, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter/Periscope, the Draft Network. We can be found on all of them. We will be back live again tomorrow at 6:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we greatly look forward to seeing you then. Thanks, guys.